Alright, finished the arcade, so I'm just going to show a little bit of what's set up here now. And then probably go through a couple of videos too about explaining exactly what I have planned here. So this is just the theater here. And over here, it's the little arcade. And we also got some retro games and shooters here. Alright, so you're probably wondering what's going on over here. So I do have a modded computer here with RetroPie running. So it does have a couple different things. It has Ubuntu on it. Unfortunately, there is some limitations with but what I ended up doing was I do have Daphne installs, which basically allows you to play these Laserdisc games. Most of them. There's a couple holographic games that I can't get, but the Laserdisc games like Space Ace and Dragon's Lair and a bunch of others, I think there's about 8 or 9. I think 12 is actually the exact number. They can play on this. I do have plans of getting a steering wheel with pedals, and I got a table upstairs I can attach it to until I decide if I'm going to get a frame for it. But yeah, then you can play racing games on this as well with a wheel and brake and pedals. Alright, so this is the Pac-Mania cabinet. I ended up getting this one for about $300. And there was like a big Boxing Day sale. The deal with this one, it does have a nice couple games. It's 15, including a bunch of different Pac-Mans, Galaga, Galaxian, Romper, and a few other games on it. This one's got the TN monitor, which doesn't do well on the sides, but it's the only vertical machine I have, so it has a lot of the vertical shooters, and that's pretty cool. But either way, that's this machine. Alright, this one is the arcade 1-up Street Fighter 2 Legacy cabinet from 2008, 2021, I think. It has 12 games on it. Most of them are Street Fighter, the different versions of Street Fighter, that is. But it does have Final Fight and a couple other shooting games as well, so it's pretty good. However, I kind of knew this going in, that I had to make some modifications to it. I did get it for cheaper, $450. So it's not as cheap as the other ones, but it does come with I don't know, I guess Street Fighter is just more sought after. Either way, the deck itself, when you purchase this one, it actually goes about an inch below here, which will bang your hands off of the edges. So I had to put in a couple of washers, about third and an eighth washer inside of here, and then I put these screws in and through it, and that kind of keeps it in place now. The other thing too is that when they designed this, they didn't tilt the screen back. Yes, kitty. So the problem is that if you build this cabinet, it will end up cutting off the top. So if you're standing here, you won't see like the life and stuff. So I ended up having to purchase, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a base station underneath the riser. So I have a riser for a riser, but now it's fine. You can stand in front of it and there's zero issues now trying to play. Okay, so this one here, is the Attack on Mars pinball machine. This originally came with 10 pinball games, all from the Williams. So it does have Medieval Madness, this is what it says here. It also has Arabian Nights and a few others. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like Funhouse, but it has a couple others. Now, I do have this one modded. So it does have the other tables from the other versions, such as Marvel, which is Zen Pinball, and as well as the Star Wars tables. There is a way to bring up Zen Pinball's library, and you can purchase tables using this. But unfortunately, it doesn't have Wi-Fi, so it's a bit funky of how you got to do it. But there is a way to add more pinball tables via by downloading the actual files, like almost like ROM files, and using this method to actually have Zen Pinball on here. It's very useful. It also the hack also increased the speed, because apparently, like when these tables came out, there was a lot of latency, even though it was only 720p. So the hack that some guy named Mystery Encoder made, made the actual tables run better without the little lag, about a half a second lag. So that's a bonus. Other than that, you can also run this at 1080p, but because I have the first edition model, it doesn't have proper cooling, so I can't run it at 780p without it being a little laggy, and eventually it'll probably overheat the chip inside. So unless I can put in some new fans, I'm not going to be doing that. Alright, this one here is the first cabinet I received, that I bought. This one's a first generation. The other two were a fourth generation and a third generation, and the pinball's the second generation. So here's the first generation. So I got one from each generation or each year that Arcade One Up put out stuff. So this one here is completely modded. Like the only thing that I ended up really keeping on here that's still original is other than the cabinet itself, is the monitor. Everything else inside of this has been completely gutted out. It's running an HP Elite workstation computer with I think it's like it's an i5, but I think it's like fourth generation chip, so it is a bit older. But it does have a new video card in it, which it's not a super high-end video card, but it is just a low to mid-range card. Allows you to play pretty much everything on it. It also has Ubuntu on it, so I can play games through Steam on here, like Dead Cells and the new Ninja Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge, and Played Up, which is also a pretty good one to play on the arcade. So it has a lot of variety. Pretty much whatever I want to play, you can play on it. Technically, I could have Daphne running on this one as well, and probably even some of the 3D games but I don't have Daphne installed in this. It's got the same limitations right now, where RetroPie is the what I use. I could use it without, I suppose, but that's the program I use for both of these, running on Ubuntu. It doesn't have a 64-bit version of RetroPie yet without using the OS. So unfortunately, because of that, I'm limited to what type of emulators I can put on here for now, until they update it. Once they update the RetroPie to the RetroPie application versus OS to 64-bit, I think I'll probably update it and then install all the 64-bit emulators like Daphne and a couple other ones. But yeah, so this is one that I've been using quite a bit. I fucked up on the buttons. You're going to see here in the bottom, I made one a little too high. But anyways. Alright, lastly, there's this little setup here. So there's a bunch of consoles around. None of those are really being used right now except for the Wii. and there's a couple of reasons for it. So it's just running a like a 21-inch CRT, which is perfect for a lot of these retro games because we do have a soft modded Wii with all the Nintendo games, Super Nintendo. I mean, that's kind of like the same thing with my modded arcade, and also I do have it set up as well for the theater for the theater as well. So, but outside of that, something that this does have that the other ones don't is a bunch of Wii games. The one thing that I specialized with this was the racing games, so you can kind of play the Mario Kart and such for the Wii, and as well I think I have Mario Kart for the GameCube on here too. But the Wii is more so for the driving. Also, I put all the arcade version of the gun games on here, so it does have this game here, which I think is Gun Force, and it has LA Guns or LA Armored or LA or something like that. I don't remember. Also has House of the Living or House of is it House of the Dead? Yeah. Um, it 2 and 3. And it has Overload, which I don't recommend. That one's kind of garbage. I don't know what they did with that game. It also has the Resident Evil light gun game and a couple others too, but it has the really arcade feel. So I don't have the guns yet, but I will get the gun attachments for the Wii light controllers, and then you can pretty much play these games kind of like an arcade, where you're shooting with the light gun. All right, I guess that's the entire tour of my little mini arcade. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the videos.